Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to continue on the series of just the HTML structure first of all. So last time I showed you like a basic HTML template that you're going to use for every web page, which you could find here. I'll link the video below so that you are able to understand what each of these mean in detail. That's very important that you know. So for right now, if we were to go in a web browser and pull up our page, what we have is just a blank web page with a title here. It says title of your page. So what we're going to do is learn some other tags to get some text on our page. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's get started. So any text that we want to show up inside of this main page here is going to need to be written inside of our body tags. So in between the opening body tag and the closing body tag. So right in this section here is where we put any text that we want to show up on our page. So let's learn about our heading tags first of all. So in HTML, there are 6 levels of headings, and they're called H1s, H2s, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So they're just heading tags that go in between your page. Like say that you were writing an article, they would be like the headings for each article on the page, and there's different size headings. H1 is the largest, and H6 is the smallest of them. So let's get started with H1. So you'll need a left angle bracket, H1, and then a right angle bracket, and then any text that you want to appear for H1. So let's just call it largest heading, and then we need to close the H1 tag. So we will do left angle bracket slash H1 and then a right angle bracket. Okay, so what we have here is basically an opening H1 tag, some text that's going to show up inside of the H1 tag, and a closing H1 tag. So of course we need to save this in order to have our changes display. And note that our blue is now clear and it just has an X, it means it's saved. So let's go and refresh our page. And here we are. So we have largest heading, which is the text that we used for in between our H1 tag. So this is just a large H1 tag for our heading. So let's look at the H2 tag so you could get a gist of the sizes for them. So again, left angle bracket, H2, right angle bracket, and let's just call this one H2 heading tag. And left angle bracket slash H2 to close it. Pretty simple. And if we were to see this, it's right below this first one. We still have this first one up here, so it's going to appear on the next line. So since we have this H1 up here still, it's going to appear first, and then this one is going to appear second. So it goes in order in which you type it out. So if we wanted to add the H3 tags, it's the same thing. Left angle bracket H3, right angle bracket, and H3 closing tag, and so on. So H4 heading, and H5. And I forgot to add the slash here, so be careful of that. H6. Also note that I'm writing each one of these tags on a different line. I do that for clarity, so it's easier to read if it's on one line. Say I did it like this, and they were all on the same line. Now becomes more difficult to kind of see where one starts and one begins. So always remember, if possible, to put heading tags, h1 through h6s, on a line of their own. Mini tags really need to be on a line of their own, but we'll talk about that later. But the gist of it is that it looks easy to read, and it's easy to read when it's on its own line. So I'm going to save this. It's not necessary to add space here. I'm just doing it to stay consistent. That's another thing that's important when you're coding. Be consistent in what you're doing. I've got spaces here, so I'm going to keep the spacing going. Let's look and see what we have. Okay, so you can see the different sizes of the headings. This is the H1, it's the largest. H2 is the next in line. H3, H4, H5, and H6 tags. So you can see how small the H6 tag is. But it's pretty cool just to see it. Kind of looks like a pyramid shape going outward, so it looks pretty decent. Let's look at the P tag next. The P tag is a paragraph. So again, all of our HTML tags are going to have angle brackets, be surrounded within angle brackets. So this P is surrounded by 2 angle brackets. And then we have a closing P tag. And inside here, we're just going to say this is a paragraph on our HTML page. You don't have to copy the same text I'm doing. You could write any text that you'd like. I'm going to save it and refresh it. This text now shows up right after our h6 tag. So you can see the difference between the headings and the paragraph.